Prices increase at the petrol pump following conflict in the Middle East. Major fuel importers first endeavor in resource exploration. Remote schools facing continual shortage of staff. Emergency care services expand throughout Delhi. Welcome back to RTTL World News. I'm Sony Madeira. Increasing petrol prices have shocked Timor-Leste's commuters this week as war rages on in the Middle East. Importers confirmed oil prices soared due to conflict in the Middle East that blocked 20% of oil supplies to reach global markets, but said they still have stock at least for the next 3 months.
Concern from commuters as the price of petrol rises.
Oil prices used to be normal. Now they are rising. We do not know the situation in the Middle East is doing like this.
Students are also feeling the impact of the price increase at the petrol pump.
Because of a conflict between Iran and America, we also bear the burden because Middle East countries have more oil.
If the price of oil increases only to 10 cents, it's still affordable. But if it rises more in the coming weeks, it will greatly affect our activity.
Since Monday, the price of petrol in Delhi has increased from $1.09 per liter to up to $1.40 per liter at some stations.
I'm surprised by the price of oil. As a regular customer here, I feel disappointed because of the conflict. We also become victims here.
Ms. Benavides urged the government to restrict price increases.
This has a big impact on people's lives. I'm calling on the government to control the price of oil so that we will not bear the brunt.
Global oil prices increase variably from between 10 and up to 50% since Israel and the United States launched joint attacks on Iran on February 28. Following the conflict, the Iran Revolutionary Guard Corps closed the Strait of Hormuz to shipping, which was key for the transport of about a fifth of the world's oil and gas.
There will be a fairly drastic increase, which not only happens in Timor-Leste, but across the globe. But we have a formula to increase prices in stages to maintain the economic stability of the people of Timor-Leste.
With price increases came concerns of supply to import-dependent nations like Timor-Leste.
In reality, the state has no fuel storage. We are totally dependent on the private sector. This issue is a serious matter. The government must take responsibility and clarify this to the whole country.
But importer Eto Group has confirmed a shipment with 3 to 4 months worth of fuel arrived earlier this week.
We continue to communicate well with our suppliers to ensure fuel for our country so that our activities that we do in our country cannot have any implications just because of lack of fuel.
While Timor-Leste has adopted a free market, the government, through the National Authority of Petroleum, called on suppliers to provide fair oil prices for consumers.
We will continue to monitor our suppliers to see the price. If they increase it, it needs to be reasonable for our communities.
This week, U.S. President Donald Trump claimed the war on Iran could end very soon. This resulted in oil prices dropping from a high of almost $120 a barrel to around $85 a barrel, still around 20% more than before the conflict. Vicky Madeira, Judas Magno, RTTL World News.
The National Petroleum Authority, ANP, has signed a 7-year production sharing contract with a major Timorese fuel importer. The contract begins with the 3-year initial exploration phase in parts of Baucau and Viqueque. This is the first time that Timorese company Rttl will enter the exploration and production sectors.
A new chapter begins with the signing of the 7-year contract.
This is a very important milestone in the journey of the petroleum sector in Timor-Leste. For the first time, a Timorese private company is confident to take the risk.
Rttl Group has established itself as a leader in Timor-Leste's fuel import, storage, retail, and energy supply sectors. But in signing this contract, the company is branching into exploration and production for the first time. Rttl Group entered a competitive licensing process between 2019 and 2022, the only Timorese company to do so.
The previous government launched a competition for the exploration of the onshore block that we also participated in with other foreign companies. We received news from ANP that our funding proposal was better and they gave this block to us.
The 7-year contract will commence with an initial phase of 3 years.
First year will be mapping for geology, second year for the geophysics, and third year to analyze the result of geophysics. If all the results are good, they go to the fourth year for drilling.
Rttl has committed to financing the project entirely.
If we get good results, we will be grateful. If we don't get good results, this has become our company's commitment to find our underground wealth sources.
The initial exploration phase will be conducted in onshore Block B, mostly consisting of Baucau municipality, along with parts of Viqueque municipality.
On behalf of the communities of Baucau and Viqueque, I express great appreciation and deep pride to the National Petroleum Authority for this contract that covers Baucau as its main target area.
The activity is expected to create more jobs to stimulate the local economy.
This initiative demonstrates a bright vision for natural resource exploration. It could be a fundamental step toward drilling wells that could bring about major economic transformation for national development and the well-being of local communities.
Onshore Block B is one of the 5 blocks that were awarded to national and international oil and gas companies during the 2019 to 2022 licensing round. Zagueres, Domingos de Deus, RTTL World News.
Schools across the country continue to face a shortage of teachers, despite government efforts to deploy more education professionals earlier this month. A basic school in Rttl.Ep of Likisa, just a 2-hour drive from Dili, has been without permanent teachers for maths, physics, and English for more than a decade. Jerry Madeira has more.
Parents and ex-teachers flag a critical lack of teaching staff at Rttl.Ep's basic school.
It's very sad because every morning as a mother, I often feed my children their breakfast before they go to school. But they couldn't make the most of their time in school because they lack teachers. And it has been like this since 2012.
There are 3 essential subjects, mathematics, physics, and English, that have no teachers. I had raised this issue before to the National Director for Human Resources, but their answer is, it is under the Likisa Municipal Authority's responsibility.
Parents and teachers raised their concerns during a seminar with Mary McKillop today, last Thursday. The Rttl.Ep school principal acknowledges the teacher shortage in his school.
We've requested the municipal authority and the Ministry of Education to give us teachers this year.
Responding to the concerns, the chairman of Likisa Municipality Authority said he has requested the Ministry of Education to urgently place new teachers to the school.
I have listed your concerns and requested the National Director for Education to urgently deploy 3 teachers for maths, physics, and English to this school.
Rttl.Ep school has 729 students. 2 weeks ago, the Ministry of Education just saw in almost 1,200 new teachers to work in schools across the country. Jerry Madeira, RTTL World News.
In part 1 of our exclusive interview with Timor Gap President Rui Soares, he revealed that first production of the long-awaited Greater Sunrise Gas Project isn't expected until the early 2030s. Today, in part 2 of the interview, Mr. Soares reaffirms his commitment to processing the gas domestically and outlines the infrastructure and funding required.
If the gas were to be piped to Timor-Leste, what infrastructure would be required and how long would this take to build?
Right. For the gas to be piped to Timor-Leste, you need at least 2 major infrastructure. One is the LNG processing plant, and the other one is the pipeline connecting upstream platform to LNG plant. In addition to this, you would also need marine facility that will be required for offloading of LNG products. So this both pipeline and LNG processing plants are all coming into a category of downstream facilities. To build this facility, once you sanction the project, it would probably take at least 3 to 4 years to be able to complete.
What is the projected cost of this infrastructure and how will it be funded?
The outcome of concept study is showing that the cost, if you are focusing on the TLNG, will be around $18 billion, around $9 billion for upstream, platform or FPSO, plus well, etc. And another $9 billion for downstream facility, which comprise of pipeline, LNG processing plant, marine facility, all this. So a total of around 18 billion, but the downstream, depending on the commercial structure of the project, which structure will be adopted in the future. For downstream, any investors can invest because there will be a guaranteed return to the investment of between 9 to 10% internal rate of return project. Now upstream is different story. Now the upstream currently is the companies that with participating interest in the upstream are outside with 30%, 30-something percent, Osaka Gas 10%, and Timor Gap 56.56%. So each of us will have our own share of upstream investment.
So how would you describe the strategic direction of the board?
For this specific project of the Great Sunrise, the direction has been clear. TLNG is the option that Timor Gap has to work towards for development of the project, the field. And as national oil company, our mandate is to ensure the priority is the country, the people. So we are investing in projects that will bring return to the people and the country of Timor-Leste. The return to the company is not the main priority. Obviously, we still need to make money in any project, but the project that brings returns to the states, to the country, and to the people, socio-economic development of people of Timor-Leste is the priority. Yeah.
So, what benefits will the Greater Sunrise Project bring to the people of Timor-Leste, and when are these benefits expected to be delivered?
There are various kinds of benefits that the project will bring. One is the revenue to the state. Then you have the revenue to Timor Gap as state oil company with participating interest in the project. Then you have socio-economic benefit like employment. The project is expected to employ over 17,000 of estimated full-time equivalent Timorese in this project, and the GDP boost over $50 billion to the country GDP.
Okay, I think that's all. Thank you very much for talking with RTTL World News President.
Thank you.
Timor-Leste's Emergency Medical Department is stepping up its efforts with its partners to train more people in emergency care. With public health services overburdened and access to healthcare challenging, new first aid centers around Dili could be the difference between life and death.
A specialist emergency medical team on hand at Dili's airport. The move follows the tragic passing of former government member, the late Amandio de Sá Benavides, at the airport 2 years ago. He had a heart attack but died while waiting for help to come.
We put the team here because 2 years ago, our former Minister of Justice died from a heart attack due to traffic jams. Our team arrived late, therefore, we set up the first aid team at the airport.
2 doctors, 4 nurses, and 2 ambulance drivers are trained to provide emergency care for dignitaries as well as ordinary people.
Our team is well trained in basic and advanced life-saving care. So if a patient has a heart attack, they can provide cardiopulmonary resuscitation service and emergency care for patients who need health care at the airport.
This first aid center is equipped with an electrocardiogram or ECG and a defibrillator AED to deal with heart attacks. It also has 4 beds for patients requiring emergency attention. Recently, the emergency department also set up a first aid tent at the Veterans Office to provide emergency care to veterans who travel from the municipalities to collect their pension.
I think this clinic is necessary because most of our veterans come from municipalities like Viqueque, Baucau, Los Palos, and Suai, and in Dili they stay with family for a couple of days. And sometimes they come here without having breakfast, so if they faint, the emergency team can respond quickly.
Most of our veterans are over 60 years old, and some of them have health problems. So with this team here, they will provide care quickly.
Hermino and Avelino took the opportunity for a health checkup, and they discovered they had high blood pressure and got medication right away.
We haven't set up our medical teams in government offices and shopping centers such as Timor Plaza because we don't have enough people. Currently, we only have 120 professionals who serve 1.3 million people.
There is a need to equip more people with first aid skills and establish a legal framework to protect those who step in to help, so we can ensure faster emergency care and save more lives. Pauline Quintown, Flavio Barros, RTTL World News.
A group of West Australian working dog breeders are looking for country children to help train young Kelpies. Now, in its third year, the Kelpies for Kids program gives country children receiving treatment at Perth's Children's Hospital an opportunity to learn how to become Kelpie master trainers.
How you going, Charlie?
Last year, Charlie Hosking's cancer treatment at Perth's Children's Hospital was made a lot more bearable with her young Kelpies for Kids companion. Charlie became Yip Yip's master trainer under the guidance of Canberra working dog breeder Gordon Curtis. The trio spent months preparing for the auction at the Perth Royal Show. Along with 7 other children, the working dog trainers at the Kelpies for Kids program not only raised $50,000 for children's medical research, it also helped create an awareness of the hardships country families face when their sick children have to spend time away from home. Supported by the Royal Agricultural Society, the program is now looking for a new batch of young master trainers to link with the breeders and their Kelpies.
We leave it very open to what suits the family, the child and the trainer. So some, want to go to the farm each day or each week or whatever for a catch-up. That's fine if that suits both parties.
Last year, Kelpies for Kids trained and auctioned young dogs, but the feedback from buyers was that they weren't quite ready for stock work. So this year they're choosing 2 to 3-year-old Kelpies, like Jessie here, who they think will be more up to speed by the time they're auctioned at the Perth Royal Show in September. The Kelpies for Kids trainers and their dogs will demonstrate their new skills at the Perth City Muster, to be held at the Claremont Showgrounds in July.
Quilting is a multi-billion-dollar industry but an often overlooked art form. A new exhibition is celebrating the impressive legacy of Canberra's Quilting Guild that's been bringing crafters together for 50 years.
It's a community stitched together with conversation, creativity and craftswomanship.
Just have to come and brag because it's not very often I win anything.
The Canberra Quilters is the oldest patchwork group in Australia. What started as a tiny newspaper ad in 1976 led to lounge room meetings and now a group of several hundred members.
When you give someone a quilt and it's folded, they always hug it. You can depend on it. It's that connection of warmth and care.
The group is in the spotlight at a new exhibition at the Canberra Museum and Gallery, celebrating quilting as an art form.
It's not very much respected as a medium. It gets shoved in the line of women's work and something Granny used to do.
It's something that takes thousands of hours and they're no longer just made from scraps, no longer just on a bed, they're actually made specifically for exhibition.
Quilting is a multi-billion-dollar industry in North America, but this show has plenty of Australian flair, and many of these intricate designs have won awards.
Every work in this exhibition is a true labour of love. This quilt was started in Scotland in 1959 and wasn't completed until 1981 here in Canberra.
For many quilters, it's about the connection as much as the craft.
The friendships you develop when you're sitting quilting together are a little bit like the friendships on a very long car trip. If you drive to Perth with someone, by the time you get there you know them, and quilting's like that.
And now the weather with Jageras.
Thanks, Sonia. Here's the weather for tomorrow, starting with Dili. Mostly cloudy with occasional rain and a thunderstorm, a top of 31 and a low of 24. Cloudy and humid in Baucau with showers in the afternoon, a high of 29 and a low of 22. In Lautern, a cloudy morning, clearing throughout the day, a top temperature of 30 and a low of 23. Cloudy and humid in Boponaro with occasional rain, a top of 29 and a low of 18. And mostly cloudy and humid up in Eleu with scattered thunderstorms, temperatures ranging between 26 and 16. Now, looking abroad, Kupang cloudy with a couple of showers, a top of 29 and a low of 25. In Bali, very warm with hazy sunshine, temperatures of 26 and 21. Jakarta, partly cloudy and hot in the afternoon, a high of 34 and a low of 23. Increasing cloud in Seoul, a top of 13 and a low of just 1. Cloudy with afternoon showers in Darwin, temperatures ranging between 30 and 25. In Sydney, windy and partly cloudy, a top temperature of 22 and a low of 18 degrees. Cloudy in Lisbon with a top of 18 and a low of 10. Scattered showers in London, a top of 10 dropping to a low of 3 degrees. Breezy in the morning in Belfast, otherwise mostly cloudy with a possible afternoon shower, a high of 8 and a low of 3. That's all for now. Back to you, Sonia.
Thanks, Geddes, and thanks for joining us again on the program. RTTL World News will be back with more stories on Sunday. Bye for now.